I'm Nathan Mad. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be continuing the premium tank reviews, and I'm going to start with my all-time favourite, the Lowe, or as other people call it,
Lowe. Lowe.
So yeah, the correct way to say it is Lowe, but without trying to regurgitate my own tongue, I'm going to stick with Lowe. So I'm sorry if that offends or upsets or whatever, so it's basically without me trying to murder the way it's pronounced. Obviously Lowe means, or Lowe means lion in German, and I think that's an apt name for this tank. So when I'm comparing this tank, I'm comparing it to the other tier 8 premium heavies. So you've got the Chrysler that's come out, and I've already done a review for that, and I'll hold judgment, and I don't want to turn this into a rant on this video. You've got the T-34 Heavy, the IS-6 and all the variants there. You've got the T-28 prototype, the Patriot, sorry, T-28 Patriot. Sort of a heavy, medium heavy type tank, but again, right, we're sticking tanks in this layer. But when it comes down to it, this is my all-time favourite because it is the most balanced. Someone asked me recently what tank I would recommend for a new time player, or someone who's getting into the game, or someone who just wants something that they can farm XP and damage and so on and so forth. And this tank I recommend massively. Okay, you could go with the IS-6 and the Russian tanks with their magical armor and their force fields, but if you just like good old hard hitting bouncy armor, go with this. Since they buffed it, moved the turret forward, gave it more gun depression, it's really is a peekaboo tank now. So when you're looking at the basic stats, and I won't bore you too much with the general stats, but we'll go through just the basic stats. I don't want to throw you through spreadsheet after spreadsheets of magical coloured versions of the tank showing you all the effective armors and stuff. Basically, take it on my word that this thing is bouncy. So again, we'll go through the basics. So 1,650 hit points. It's nice pool of hit points when you compare that to the other tanks. So for example, we'll go tech tree, we'll go and have a look at the American T-34 Heavy. It's got T-34 Heavy's got 1,500. So you've already got more than that. Let's see if the IS-6. $1,550. So again, the Lowe at these three has the most armor. Gun wise, oh sorry, go back to the whole armor. We've got 150 front, 100 sides and 80 rear. It's not too bad, but you look at the angles now. You're side scraping off a building, look how flat that is. The hull is quite narrow, the tracks actually protrude quite well out the side, so a lot of the hits will be absorbed by these nice beefy meaty tracks, which is probably a good example of getting your repairs up straight away, because you will be getting tracked a lot, but they are like a saving grace. The size of these tracks, they'll take quite a lot of armor up. You've got to go careful around this area. It's ammo racks. If you get hit there a lot, you're definitely going to go popping. That's your ammo rack spots. The front, again, because of the gun depression now, you've got a very flat plate there, but the angle that you can come up over hills, it will provide quite a flat plate. And you look at the turret, nice big sloping angles that come off, and this giant mantle there to absorb a nice lot of ammo. You've got the gun mantle at the top, the commander's hatch. The gun mantle at the top is actually, again, another nice little strong point, so that will absorb quite a lot of rounds. Commander's hatch is a weak spot, so if you are going to go peekaboo, make sure you're not exposing that too much. Always keep moving. Nice long gun. We'll go back to the rear of the tank. Nice big butt for someone to put a round in, so you always got to be keeping this secure. So again, the turret armor is 120 flat, but again, when you're adding into the angles, you're talking it's upwards of 220 on this angle. Sides 80 and 80 on the rear. Again, because of its shape and design, as long as you're moving, you can always keep moving. If you've got a tank who's lined up a shot and you fired yours, keep bobbing, because the chance of a ricochet, if he's aiming at a weak spot on your tank, if you're moving up and down, his marker's constantly moving, which is basically going to give you a bounce 9 times out of 10. So we'll go to the gun. Nice tier 9 gun there. It's the 105 L70. Standard damage is 320 with a very good 234 penetration, and with gold ammunition, which is APCR, it's a nice 294 with the 320. Good rate of fire. You get some perks up on this. That's gold rounds will go through a good percentage of tier 10s, but it's a good tank. It's a very, very forgiving tank. It'll give you a chance to learn. It'll give you a lot of saving rolls and saving bounces to keep you in the game. You just got to learn how to use it. These nice big tracks, a nice narrow hull, means you can side scrape quite well. If you just put that front track on, give it a little bit of an angle, all that's just going to keep flying off. So we'll go to mobility. Engine power 1000. We'll get your top speed of 35. Top speed reverse is 15. That's average for a heavy tank. It's not. You're not going to be racing around the battlefield keeping up with scouts. It's a heavy tank. It's got a lot of armor, so it's going to. But it's not slow in the respect of the rest. There's a majority of all heavy tanks are around 35 top speed. So the types of armor. Obviously, you can see what I've gone with here: rammer, vent, and spore liner. That's because a lot of people will try and use HE, artillery will try and aim at you, and it just removes a lot of the damage and the splash damage that can happen to you. Vents obviously boosting your crew, 5% to all crew skills, and a rammer just to help with that reload. This is because I play my tank quite aggressively, so no sort of scopes or anything needed. I'm not going to be camping. Right, that's a quick overlay and a quick brief view at the tank. So what I'm going to basically do now, we'll go and show you a couple of bits of gameplay and footage and stuff. I'll show you one battle where we lose and one battle where we win, and I'll show you what I did and the way I play with it, and hopefully enjoy. So we'll move on to that now. Right, so as you can see, when I start the game, I always make sure I wait a couple of minutes, let everyone move off, so I'm moving into the right position and right place. I'll always check the teams as well, like I just did then. Mini-map awareness, bottom right hand corner, always checking. So when I have to sort of this map dictates two flanks. You can get a bit of the tanks in the middle, but you've normally got your heavies to the town and your mediums in the field with the artillery and TDs. So what I've done is I've moved up. I've spotted on the mini-map there, tanks in the middle. So I thought, right, I need to turn and engage, stop these from flanking us. So I took a bit of a random shot, which is expected because they've all got tanks in there. Already put myself at an angle. My main concern is these two in the middle. So I know he's going to creep out for a shot in a minute, so I need to position myself at an angle. See if I can get a rear shot on that tank. There's a tank following up with me. There he goes, he's just appeared, but I'm going to get a shot on that first. So put a shot on the most dangerous tank. Always trying to eliminate the most dangerous tank first. There we go, he's creeped out. He's put a bounce on me because of my angle. Because he's snapshotting because he doesn't want to get killed. There we go. Got a nice little shot there. And there's that TD. Again, as I mentioned before, my nice big chunky tracks took that. So right now there's a TD camping in that little corner. So what I want to do is position myself at an angle, side scrape. Right, he's just going to get lit now. There he is. And what I'll do is reverse back, keeping that nice angle. Got a little bit of a shot then. So, disappears, preemptive shot. Driving back into cover, then I'll make my new manoeuvre. Never turn your tank while you're in open. Always get back into cover, then do your manoeuvre and then come out. Right, so these look like they're in trouble. They've made a bit of a silly mistake and they've all gone under the bridge. There's no one on the top to stop the tanks from shooting down on top of them. So I now need to reverse back, so never exposing my rear end to the enemy on the bridge. Reverse into cover. Right, looks like they made a push, one of them fell off the bridge. So, dead tank here. I'll line him up as my cover. Nice, always go for the criticals. Ammo rack. I could have had a shot on his track, I could have detracked him, but I went for the chance to hit his ammo rack. Again, side of his vehicle. Tracked him there. He took a bounce. I'm hold down. Right, so see, I'm going for his engine block now. There you go, I got a critical, so there's a good chance I probably hit his transmission or his fuel tank or his engine. Again, he went for my cupola. Artillery had a splash on me. Here I'm not really paying attention to the minimap. You can see in the bottom right hand corner there's a bat chat coming up behind me, but last time I knew there was tanks there to protect me. And there we go. Right, so this is game number 2. This is the winning game. So again, I've been put on an assault map. So we need to attack. Again, me flashing the team up, just double checking the team. Check me. I like the icons. I don't need the players' names. It's not important. So I like to see what tanks are remaining. So I'll just minimise what's on my screen and just keep the icons on. There's me looking at the tracks of the IS-3. Don't worry, I'm not going to shoot him. Just checking out the HD rendering on his tracks. So, right. My main concern at the enemies, I'm a tier 8 fighting tier 10s. It's a big open map. And you've got enemy artillery, T-92. Potential to do a lot of damage to me in the open. So I need to be very cautious of the way I play and the way I think about what I'm doing. So, right, there's enemy already on the corner, so they're going to try and keep us at bay for the artillery to hit us. Nice cheeky little snapshot of the Bulldog. That's one thing I love about the German guns. The German guns are so accurate. Right, I'll do a quick reverse move just in case the artillery was preempting there. Again, the German gun's accurate. This gun is a very typical German gun. Very accurate, good damage output and a good penetration ratio. I fired 10 shots this entire game and I hit every single one. So yeah, I think only 6 went in, but again, the accuracies, you can't fault it. So with this nice gun depression of my tank now, I can use the hills and the divots and the land to manoeuvre my tank in a position which allows me to hide a majority of my vehicle. Right, I've got a turret shot, T110E5, one of the hardest tanks to penetrate from the front, especially for a new player. There are some weak spots, again you need to learn. I'm very reluctant at using premium ammo because I don't want to get sucked into the vortex of gold and having to spend too much money on the game. So I always try and persist with normal ammo. There was a very bad shot by me. Very bad shot then. But I'm getting engaged from the centre by TD, as you can see, 1 bounce. So now I've got to be cautious of what's coming in from my right and my position. So our artillery is nailing them. I'm always moving after a fire. Nice shot on him. There you go. There's that TD again. Look, always check my tank to see where I've been penned. Yeah, so again, always check your tank. You've been hit. It's always worth checking your tank to see where you've been hit. So later on in the game, you can hide that spot where you can use that to your advantage. So you know later on where you're going to get penned and how you're going to get penned. Again, there's the beauty of this turret. You can get shot a numerous amount of times, but because of the angle of the turret and the strength of it, 9 times out of 10 you'll bounce a shot. Right, so I'm going for his cupola. He's a weak tank. There's a very strong frontal tank. So his cupola is one of the weakest spots. You just keep nailing that. It's the thing you'll see the first. That's a very... I don't like saying it, but there's a very idiotic player there. He's driving sideways out of cover. He's exposing a lot of his tank. I could have tracked him. I could have put a round through his engine, killed his engine. I could have done both at the same time, and then he would have been screwed because he would have had no ability to reverse out of cover and he would have been killed. So never drive sideways out of cover. Right. Some people say you can't pen the T110E5's cupola anymore. But you can. There's just between the turret and where the cupola starts. If you can get around on there, that's actually a little ring of weak spot. There you go, our artillery's hitting that. My main concern, like again, always go for the most dangerous tank. There's their artillery. I think he takes a liking to me at the end of this game. I've swapped to gold ammunition now. Going for his lower cupola. Lower glacier, sorry. Always moving, always moving. I took a little bit too long than I should have, firing that round then. As soon as he's dead, that's it, I've swapped straight back to normal ammo. Never be afraid to use premium ammo. I know I previously said I don't like using it, and I don't, but in them sort of cases, it's just worth doing. You're gonna bounce more with standard ammo. That thing's got a lot of armor. Don't mess about with it, just kill it. Right, so I'm now pushing up, knowing that I was in cover, looking at the mini-map, always checking the mini-map, see where the position of my team is. I know my team's got them TDs under pressure. So as I push up here and have a look at this TD, it turns out that that TD's actually hidden behind another dead TD, but I've got a shot on him from underneath. Right, he spotted me, so he knows I'm coming. Trying to get to this rock, hide from artillery, because last time I know artillery was up that corner, but now he's just spotted in front of me. There we go. He's bounced on me, and he's gone. And there you go, game over. So there you go. Here's the end of battle scores. As you can see, I did fairly well in this, about average. It's a good tank. It's well worth the money you spend on it. I would definitely consider this as a first-time tank. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I'll see you later.